It is a visit that Kenyans have been waiting for, and the excitement is almost palpable. Opportunities for the country are immense, but for the local entrepreneurs and innovators, how will they maximize these opportunities, be it in terms of financing or even advice from successful business leaders? The Global Entrepreneurship Summit is the brainchild of US President Barack Obama. The first edition of the summit was held in Cairo, Egypt 5 years ago. Other countries that have also hosted the summit include Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, Malaysia, and Morocco. Kenya is set to host the 6th edition of the summit, making it the third African country to do so.
There are significant opportunities for business leaders who are coming from the US in a number of sectors. We will be talking to them about infrastructure projects. The LAPSET project is a major one. We'll be talking about the ports. We'll be talking about extension of rail and locomotives and so many others.
For Kenyans, the excitement of Obama coming home might just eclipse everything else, since during his last 3 visits in Africa, Kenya has not been on his schedule. But not this time. The 2015 GES will see successful entrepreneurs, innovators, investors, academics, NGOs, foundations, government and business leaders converge in Nairobi. It might be an opportunity of a lifetime for local entrepreneurs and innovators. But first, tourism is another beneficiary of the summit. Fortunes in the tourism sector have plunged in recent years, anchored on bad perception of the country.
Any of the delegates coming to this destination is a tourist, first and foremost. And therefore, that is obviously going to provide a boost in terms of the numbers. Remember also that President Obama comes with a big delegation comprising of government officials and obviously security detail. Again, if they spend their nights here and we hope, bearing in mind that they are coming a big delegation, clearly again we are looking at the boost in terms of the numbers.
But with such a high-profile conference, could it be an opportunity to market the country's tourism sites and help correct the misconceptions?
The bigger picture is a visit by President Obama to this country, which obviously endorses the destination very strongly and very positively. And that's what we want to look at, which is the flip side of it, the positive side, as opposed to any other negative side.
The summit comes less than a month after the 10-year extension of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, which has been crucial in helping revive textile and apparel sector.
There are about 6,000 products under AGOA, but we mainly hear about the textile, which is the key product exported to the US. However, there are numerous opportunities to grow what we export to the US. So in partnership with the ministry, we'll also identify other products that are low-hanging fruits where we have a competitive advantage, where we can start taking advantage of AGOA so that we grow our market within the US.
The preferential trade deal has been crucial for Kenya, whose textile exports to the American market attract no duty. Kenya is keen on maximizing on deals that might be on offer during the GES.
We are #1 exporter of apparels to the US under the AGOA program across the whole of Africa. And we want to expand that to $1 billion in the next 2 years from 400 million.
Entrepreneurs and innovators in tech industry are also not to be left behind.
GES is a platform, right? So it's the platform for you to be able to showcase as a Kenyan entrepreneur, amongst others, is to say, what great ideas you have, what great business models you have, and why it is that your unique solution is so different than many others, right? So I think that visibility, is very critical. But I think there's also an element of validation as well, which is that, if you're participating, if you're there, you're also to some extent have walked the journey of an entrepreneur, right? So you're not just walking in there with ideas, but you really have put in the sweat and the blood to actually create your business and your solution. So I think there's an element of ideas that are vetted, that are being presented, and once you get to the stages of GES, then it's a question of, you're there now, and it's a question of how do you validate and how do you, create the connections, the networking, the partnerships, so that you're able to sort of grow and scale.
Already reality show investors of Shark Tank are reported to be among those scheduled to attend the summit. They include FUBU founder and president of fashion line FUBU, Damon John, Barbara Cochran of Barbara Cochran Venture Partners, as well as billionaire Mark Cuban, who made his fortunes in the technology sector.
You have some of the great stories that have been built around Silicon Kenya, right? So Silicon Savannah, how do you do that? And the success of the likes of iHub, right? And the presence that they're able to create, the landmark that they've been able to sort of print on Kenya has actually helped sort of fuel that. Now, how do we do that more so that you have more and more investors coming in, more and more businesses growing? I think there's a bit of a factor of time, but I think there are also some policies that are also need to be shaped around that, which is how do you allow young entrepreneurs and SMEs to actually compete, right, fairly on some solutions. So absolutely, I think there's a space. But I think, and then I'm very confident that Kenya is actually the right place to be as you're thinking of innovation, entrepreneurship, scaling solutions, and driving young, innovative, disruptive businesses.
The country has been on the innovation forefront, hosting a number of tech hubs, hackerspace, and startups. So how do they stand to benefit?
The fact that this is slightly more with higher profiles attending, I think if anything, it should bolster the confidence of entrepreneurs to really say, if you're there, you really are there because you are one of the best. So by all means, take advantage of it, have the confidence, drive your solutions, and network as much as you can so that you're able to sort of take your businesses to the next level.
A pre-summit innovation is also set to run from 22nd to 24th, where local innovators will showcase their creations in a bid to attract investors and hopefully overcome funding hurdles. And for those who will not be successful in securing investments or partnerships, Abdella says they have a chance to pick the brains of the successful business magnates. Ronald Owili, Business Defined.